The seminar was fine. I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't say much. I didn't really say anything, actually. I said nothing. I sat there for 3 hours and didn't say anything. I hadn't been sleeping well. Not well at all, really. I'd barely been sleeping, actually. I was on a come down. I felt like shit. Someone in the seminar made some point about internet chat rooms being like something else. I was trying to hear. The whole room looked like it had a film grain over it. Every point people made sounded like I was in between 2 radio stations, turning the cold tap on a sink until the temperature was right, but never getting there. It was like some other things that I was too tired to think. I was just smiling and nodding through the whole thing. I felt like if I looked engrossed enough and like I was enjoying myself, no one would drag me into the conversation and make an idiot out of me, because I'm just loving hearing other people talk so much. Or maybe I was just giving off such a bad vibe that people took my sweaty grin for total delirium and ignored me because of that. Is it delirium? Delirium? I was so ill that I was only in the seminar because I had to use all my self-certification days for when I got stuck in Berlin by losing my passport in a club. I felt like I hadn't had a conscious thought in days. Hours expanded out in front of me as if I was in a time warp, and I was living weeks within a second. I felt dizzy and exhausted. I was sweating like someone who'd licked the back of a poisonous frog for a YouTube video. I never paid attention in seminars, but usually that's fun. This time just felt like watching a terrible film in VR while being in a terrible sauna and watching coins fall down a drain. At some point the chatter faded to a close, and I heard the whoosh click of people shutting MacBooks and the zup zup of people opening bags. I'd somehow survived the whole 3 hours without anyone picking on me to answer a question. I waited around until everyone left, and then slowly made my way back home, where I planned to chug a bottle of night nurse and fall asleep on the couch. I came to a part of the road home that had a pedestrian crossing at a busy intersection. Whenever I went past, the red man would always be there for so long, I couldn't help but think I only ever really existed at that crossing, and that the rest of my life is just what people meant when they say imagination. I tried to remember what the seminar was about. The man turned green. I made it home, into my apartment. For some reason, upon walking through the door, I felt slightly worse than I did out on the street. I decided to take a shower. Feeling increasingly terrible, I went into the bathroom and turned on the shower. Standing there, as the room filled with steam, I saw something dark among the white tiles, in the corner of the bathroom. I moved over to it and leaned in through the mist. It was black mould. It was a massive black mould that was growing in the adhesive between the tiles on the walls. I felt tired. I wanted to get the shower over with so I could take something and go to bed. Then I found myself in the shower. I had my back to the head, looking at the back wall of the bathroom. I could see the black mould through the mist, in the corner of my vision, like a blind spot. I imagined the black mould as the eyeball of a great, all-knowing monster, looking up into the shower through a hole in the pod. I imagined the black mould as a crack in the wall, behind which a black void existed and did not exist. I could put my finger in it and wiggle it around, with no consequences whatsoever. My body was growing heavy from tiredness and the saturation of my dress. I realized I'd left my clothes on. As I stared at the black mould, it began to grow, and I felt afraid. But then I realized it was just my vision blacking out, and I relaxed, and then was afraid again. Realizing I had little time to act before I passed out completely, I mashed my hand against the buttons of the shower, turning the water cold, then off, then on and hot again. I scrambled my way out and kneeled on the floor, blinking and breathing, and willing my vision to restore itself. In my last few moments of consciousness, I saw there was also black mould on the adhesive that fixed the bath to the wall. It was then that I realized. The black mould was what was making me sick, not the drugs and the insomnia and the pot noodles. Without knowing it, a fungus had infested my apartment and was trying to kill me from the outside in. It was that moment I knew that I was living within something sick, and it was not my fault that I was doing so badly. It was the mould. There was mould in the bathroom, and in the seminar room, and in the club where I lost my passport. There was mould in the shop, and on my clothes, and in my bed. There was mould in Brittany Murphy's house, and it killed her and her husband. Mould ruined my third year, and it ruined Counelis. Lying on the floor, my clothes sodding wet and hot, with the shower beating down into the bath behind me, I felt completely calm. I could feel real sleep finally coming to me. The sound of the shower reminded me of Florida, of listening to shells on the beach, going to Disney World when I was 9, and drinking an Arnold Palmer in a glass with a light at the bottom. I knew it wasn't my fault.